home to an advanced civilization thousands of years ago.
These discoveries are changing the face of South American archaeology.
And was influenced by beings from another world.
The message is consistent throughout all these discoveries that extraterrestrials were helping to advance us.
I mean, this is about as exciting as it gets.
There is a doorway in the universe. Beyond it is the promise of truth. It demands we question everything we have ever been taught. The evidence is all around us. The future is right before our eyes. We are not alone. We have never been alone.
Peru is actually one of my favorite places to visit on the planet. And we've all been to Peru. This is what's so great about that whole region, because it seems as if this whole area continues to give us new pieces of information.
And we're just beginning to uncover what's actually there. It's kind of like a wild frontier down there. I mean, it's worlds meet down there, don't they?
It's really just the most mysterious place, and it's a very large country that goes from deserts along the coast up to the mountains, down to the jungles. It has literally every climate in the world.
And it's also a treasure trove for the ancient astronaut theory, because there are many megalithic sites, and especially in the legends and the mythologies of that place, you have stories of giants and of gods, the children of the sun.
The country of Peru in western South America is known for its many ancient archaeological wonders, from the massive stone walls of Cusco, to the magnificent terraces at Ollantaytambo, to the majestic mountain citadel of Machu Picchu. These incredible sites have long been connected to a great civilization that emerged in the 13th century AD, known as the Inca.
The Inca pretty much not just dominated the landscape, they changed the landscape. They had these major, massive cities from one end of the Andes to the other end of the Andes. And in between each of these cities, they had this incredible road network. We have to think about the Inca as part of this progressive trend of ideas and of culture and tradition.
In 1526, Spanish conquistadors, led by Francisco Pizarro, arrived in Peru, and over the course of the following 4 decades, conquered the Inca Empire. While the Inca only flourished for a little more than 2 centuries, mainstream archaeologists remain astonished by their engineering and construction achievements. But a mounting body of evidence suggests many of Peru's astounding structures may, in fact, have been built by a much earlier civilization.
The Incas were pretty recent, really, to the Spanish. They're not the oldest.
Right.
They had only existed about 200 years before the Spanish arrived.
Yeah.
And allegedly, during that period, they built all these giant megaliths around Cusco, Sacsayhuaman, even Machu Picchu and Ollantaytambo, and they would have just completed them like 100 years before the Spanish.
Wait a second, but here's the deal. That is mainstream archaeology's opinion. But when you ask the local, including local archaeologists and tour guides, yes, they will tell tour groups that, yes, this is all Inca, but when you have deep conversations with them, they all agree that many of those structures are pre-Inca, and this is where the opinions diverge. Who were the pre-Inca?
In April 2019, David Childress traveled to Peru with author Hugh Newman to meet with Jorge Luis Delgado, a local expert on and a descendant of the Inca. Jorge believes that many of Peru's most incredible ancient structures do, in fact, predate the Inca.
These lands still exist Spanish arrived, they thought that they discovered the Incas. But the truth is that we have started to discover pre-Inca cultures and know a little bit more about these ancient civilizations.
All right, here we are.
On this day, Jorge took David and Hugh to one of Peru's most mysterious sites, a location outside of Cusco known only as the X Zone. Overlooking the sprawling stone fortress of Sacsayhuaman, the X Zone is an impressive collection of megalithic ruins, rock-cut monuments, and a maze of underground tunnels.
So this is a very interesting wall. When we build walls like this, is to remark the importance of this area. Look this stonework. It is amazing megalithic stones on the top of natural rocks from the same place, and it's so perfect. The cuts.
It's incredible.
What kind of technology does it take to cut these so perfectly and straight and then fit them in where you can't fit a piece of paper or a razor blade in here?
It seems like they're softening the stone somehow, and they're kind of shaping it and then putting it back in, like some magical technology.
One of the theories is that there were some technology of the masters that came over the seas. There is a figure very well known here, is Nile lamp. A Nile lamp has wings, and it's a solar beam. It can fly. So the legend says he came over the seas. So what kind of information he brought? What kind of technology he was sharing here? Because all these masters got much contribution for evolution of life.
Nilam was the deity worshipped by the Sican people who settled in northern Peru around 750 AD, centuries before the Inca. Their oral traditions describe Nilam as a strange being with sharp bird-like features, who upon his death sprouted wings and then ascended into the sky. Is it possible that these traditional beliefs are grounded in fact, as the Sican people claim? And if so, could Nilam have been, as ancient astronaut theorists suspect, an extraterrestrial being?
Many times people ask how our ancestors could move, could cut these megalithic stones. You know, it is not about to deny the capability, the wisdom of the Incas and the pre-Incas. What we want to say is that probably our ancestors had the assistance of the Space Brothers, the masters, that they brought some ideas, some technology, so they can make possible these extraordinary constructions.
I think the Incas found these places, and they identified them as very important, and they moved in.
They say so. In one of the earliest books written about that region, Diego de Landa was the one who wrote it. It says that the Incas themselves said this was not built by us. We also have the local legends that say that there were celestial visitors. They were not gods, they were visiting extraterrestrials.
Well, here's where now we get fact backing up the local knowledge, lore, understanding. In 1994, archaeologist Ruth Shady is exploring north of Lima, and she says, that hill over there, that looks artificial to me. So she goes and gathers some soldiers, they do some excavating. Lo and behold, here's this, 10-story tall pyramid.
And that became known as the site of
Corral.
Right.
First discovered in 1905, the site of Corral Supe, often referred to as simply Corral, was initially thought to be little more than a scattering of insignificant and possibly modern ruins. But while investigating the site in 1994, Peruvian archaeologist Ruth Shady Solis came to the astonishing revelation that Corral was once a vast and highly sophisticated city.
When
you visit Corral, you find a huge archaeological complex. There's a large sunken amphitheater to the south. There's a major pyramid to the north. And then there are more minor pyramids that surround a central area. There are also other buildings, residential buildings, so it's a really huge complex.
But the most extraordinary discovery was still to come. While excavating the pyramid's foundation in 1999, Ruth Shoddy and her team unearthed the preserved remains of ancient mesh bags woven from a long durable grass known as shikra. Up until this time, there had been no way to scientifically determine the age of Corral, since it is not possible to perform radiocarbon dating on inorganic material like stone ruins. With the discovery of the grass bags, archaeologists now had the organic material they needed to determine just how old Corral really was.